you. And you can come on over.
Okay.
Okay, so hospital bed. Just a little bit about hospital bed 101. First off, we've got bed rails. And with bed rails, if you've ever visited anybody in a hospital, you have the opportunity to control some of where the bed goes, what the bed does. Now the patient has the controls on the inside that they can raise up their head of the bed or lower it or raise up their legs. Okay, if that's medically okay. If it's not medically okay, then we have the opportunity, usually it's down at the foot of the bed, there's another set of controls that you can either operate the bed, the same way the patient can, or usually lock out the controls so the patient can't do whatever it is that the other controls can do. Okay? So again, there's usually a set of controls down here. Now, it's a nice thing to do when you're in the hospital to go ahead and get familiar with the hospital bed. If you have a few minutes and you're passing a room that has no patients in it as a hospital bed, go in and spend a few minutes punching on buttons and see what's going on. So we're going to put these back down. Something else that we can do is, besides lowering the head and the feet, patients will usually raise the head so that they can eat or see people or watch TV comfortably. Well, we can raise and lower the entire bed, which if I was coming in and performing range of motion, I might want to just raise the whole thing so I don't have to bend down. But when we're doing what we're doing today, which is transfers, I want this bed all the way down. I want it as low as possible so that the patient, when they come up and sit, they can put their feet on the floor. Okay? Now, bed rails. Generally, we'll keep the bed rails up at the head of the bed, but we won't necessarily keep the bed rails down, at least on one side on the bottom. But you want to get familiar with bed rails because they all work differently. Whatever, they may have a catch here or something. This one happens to have a handle here so that you could lower the bed rail, hit it again, and the bed rail slides underneath the bed to get totally out of the way, and you can pull a wheelchair right up to it. Okay? Now, what frequently happens is physical therapy comes in the room, and we lower the bed rails, and we don't let people use the bed rails. Okay? Sometimes there's also a trapeze bar that goes over the top that has a triangle thing that hangs down that the patients can pull themselves up in bed or use it to help themselves get in and out of bed. As physical therapy, we walk in the room, hi, I'm Carla, I'm a physical therapist assistant. While we're saying that, we're putting the trapeze up high out of their way. Because we don't want people to use things that they wouldn't ordinarily have at home. We want them to demonstrate their activities and do all of their exercises without using extra things. And you don't have bed rails on your bed at home. I doubt you have a trapeze bar over the top, and if you do, too much information for my tender ears, right? I don't want to know about that. Okay, so we can leave the bed rail up here for what we're doing today. And generally at no time do you raise any more, all 4 bed rails. That's considered kind of entrapping the patient. And we don't tie patients to chairs, even though it seems like it might be sometimes a good idea and a safety issue. But it's considered kind of capturing, and it's actually illegal. So we don't put all 4 bed rails up either. So get familiar with this and be able to adjust the bed rails here, which those 2 will go down as well. So we have something else here on the hospital bed that you won't have on the mat tables. You'll use a sheet on the mat tables for just for kind of hygiene purposes. But in the hospital bed, we're going to use another sheet, and usually the patients are already on this second sheet besides what's on here. We'll pull the top sheet out of the way, and we have another flat sheet that's folded square that will be across the bed this way. Anybody know what this sheet is called? Yes, it's called a draw sheet, like you draw a picture. D-R-A-W. To draw, as in to pull. Okay? So this is a sheet that is actually a kind of a handle for us for handling a patient so that we're not pulling on their extremities. We can use the draw shoe. So can I have a patient? Anybody want to be my patient? All right, come on, Talia. Hop up here. There you go. Okay, so if I need to passively roll Talia over, I can use the draw shoe, and I could passively roll her here, or I could get a hold of the sheet, and if I had it in the right place, then I could pull her here. And never, 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 never pulling on her extremities. Okay, so it's skin friendly. I can also assist her scooting up in bed. If we had it out away from the wall, someone else could be on the other side, and we could do a 1, 2, 3, scoot her up in bed, 2 of us, by aid of the draw sheet. Sound good? Okay, so for bed mobility, we want that, and Talia is very sick. You're just feeling just weak as a kitten. Yeah, you've had this really bad flu bug, and you just can't muster any energy whatsoever, okay? All right, so Talia, I come in, introducing myself, all that good stuff, and we need to roll around in bed and get you a little bit more active. Is that okay? All right. So we're going to start by rolling back and forth in bed. So can you bend this knee up? There you go. Good, good. Now, Talia, I want you to push down, and you're very weak, okay? Push down hard and reach for that bed rail. Can you reach over there? Go ahead. Good. All right. Great. Now roll on back. So what would you say I used out of my different types of cueing for that? Yeah, I did. I used all 3. I start with the verbal. I combined it very quickly with the visual, and really she did what she needed to do. I just kind of had my hands on her to sort of reinforce what I was doing. Could you guys see that? All right, so we're going to have her roll the other direction. Again, we're using her leg so that she can use her hip muscles to do hip extension, and she's really rolling from her hip. Okay, let's do that one more time. Give a good push here and reach over there, Talia. Good. She's pushing with her hip, so she's not twisting her back a lot. Okay? She's not using her back a lot. Okay, same thing. Let's put this leg down. Let's go with this leg. So I'm tapping from underneath. When I want her to pick this up, I want to tap from underneath and cue. Then when I want her to put it down, I'm very easily using my tactile cues. If Talia couldn't hear me, if she had a hearing issue, or if we had a language barrier, I could still probably get her to do most of what I wanted to do with good tactile cues and good visual cues. Okay? All right, let's push down with this leg and reach over here. And go ahead and lay back for a second. So reach over here. There you go. Did you see how I don't ever want her to pull on me, but I can get her to reach. And then it's like, no, reach right there. There you go. So she's not going to pull on me, but I can guide her very quickly to that bed rail and pull and get her, I'm cueing literally over her gluteus maximus muscles to get her to do hip extension and help her to roll over. Make sense? Easiest thing in the world, isn't it? Okay, go ahead and put that on here. Now then, we're going to do up in bed. Can you go ahead and wiggle yourself on down a little bit? She's been watching TV for a little while. If I happen to head the bed up and down, it ends up wiggling people till their feet, in a hospital bed anyway, are sticking down by the foot of the bed. Now this doesn't work at home or anything because people's beds don't go up and down. But it's fortunate for us that we can ask her to scoot back up in bed where she needs to be, but I can also do it because I want to get her muscles going. Muscle activity is the #1 way to counteract that drop in blood pressure, and that drop in blood pressure when I sit her up. What is that called? Orthostatic hypotension. Yes. Okay? So I want her muscles engaging here. All right, Talia, can you bend both knees up? Good. All right. So I want you to push down hard here and use your elbows or whatever you need to and wiggle yourself back up in bed by pushing down with your feet, okay? Now, when I ask her to do that, I'm going to help by cueing her gluteus maximus muscles, which she needs for hip extension. Okay, ready? All right, and push. Push, push, push. Good. All right, go bump your head there. All right, very efficient. So I'm helping here. Now, if she needed, I could lift. If she was having a hard time and kind of sticking, and people who've been in bed a while, they get kind of sweaty and they stick to the sheets, and they really do get kind of stuck. So I might actually lift here and help her with the bridge so that maybe she could slide a little bit. Okay? All right. Okay, go ahead and put your legs down. So that's up in bed. Again, I've got her doing up in bed in order to get the muscle contractions going. Yeah, I want to get the hips going because the hips are really a muscle group that we need her to work. Make sense? Okay, real quickly, go ahead and scoot aside so the camera can catch it. Okay. And so what it can also do with bed mobility is we can turn it into resistive exercise. Now this is a little beyond the scope of this course, but we can really get people working and get those muscles going. Go ahead and bend this leg up again, Talia. Okay, reach on over here and I want you to roll on over. Good. All right, good. Now, I'm going to push back because you were able to do that pretty easy. So don't let me push you over, okay? I'm pushing you over. Come on. Come on, push back. Come on, for real. Talia. Okay. There you go. Good.
You're not weak
Good.
anymore.
Yeah, you're not weak anymore. Good, good. Now go ahead and turn loose here. Yeah, okay, now push some more. Come on, push, push, yeah. Good, all right. So we just turned the simple rolling into a resistive exercise. Now, what muscles did you use through all of that wrestling around? Yeah, maybe some abs. Just about everything from your toenails to your ears, right? So really got it going. So you can turn resistive rolling into therapeutic exercise as well to get them really working and get them warmed up, get them going. Make sense? All right. So I'd like you guys to do bed mobility with your patients on the mat. We don't need the wheelchairs for now. So go ahead and do rolling with good cueing and communication and scooting up in bed. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sarah, can you turn the camera off?
Yes.